Hello! Welcome to the Sweet Sparrow Knits podcast. My name is Julie, and you can find me on Ravelry and Instagram as Sweet Sparrow Knits, and you can find my hand-dyed yarn and project bags that I've sewn in my Etsy shop, which is at sweetsparrowyarns.etsy.com. Hey! Yes, I'm back again so soon. It is June 24th, and I am recording at around 5 in the evening, so please pardon any shifts in the light that happen. I bought a ring light specifically to do the podcast, but it's a little bit intense. I just don't feel super natural, not like supernatural, but I don't feel natural talking to you. Okay. I don't feel very natural talking to you with a giant glowing ring around my camera. It's already kind of weird enough talking into like this little like bright spot in the lens on my camera, so adding a big glowing thing into the mix just did not feel comfortable, even though it made my skin look really good. So what can you do? I would rather feel a little bit more like me talking to you, even if it means that I am not beautifully and evenly lit. It's pretty toasty here today. It's about 80 degrees Fahrenheit, so hence the my attire not being quite as put together as usual, but I'm nice and comfy. Incidentally, this is one of my favorite shirts. Let's see if I can show you. So this is my Schrute Farms tank top. It says Schrute Farms, bed, breakfast, beets. This is a reference to The Office, if you don't watch The Office. My best friend and I, Jacqueline Salem from the Brooklyn Knit Folk podcast, we were watching The Office together, and I mentioned that I often went to Scranton as a kid because I grew up pretty close to Scranton, and Jacqueline was astonished to learn that Scranton is a real place and not somewhere that was made up for The Office. So I got us each a Schrute Farms tank top after that. So yeah, definitely one of my favorite shirts. Super comfy and makes me smile every time I wear it. I guess you would probably like to hear about some knitting at some point on this little adventure that we're on together. What is happening? I guess this is what happens when I record in the evening. It's the end of the day. I'm a little goofy. I'm definitely less prim than I am when I record in the morning. So I guess you're gonna get what you get. First up, I have an almost finished object. All the knitting is done. I just, as I say so often on this podcast, I just have to weave in the ends. But I'm actually going to do that tonight. I'm going to do that while I catch up on a few other podcasts, watching them, not recording them, obviously. What are you doing? Murphy the cat has found a piece of cardboard and has decided it must be scratched. Murph! Bud, you want to sit with me? You want to sit with me and not scratch the cardboard? That's his little sound. Please don't stand on my loom. Come here, goofy boy. Okay. Alright, Murph has joined. Hi. Hi. I know a lot of you guys really enjoyed the Murphy cameo in the last episode, so hopefully you will enjoy this as well. Let me lift it up a little bit so you can get a good look at his precious little face. Right, Murph? Alright, he's settling in next to me. So this is my 99% finished Deshane sweater. As you can see, still ends dangling around, but it is otherwise complete and I love it. This is the Deshane sweater by Lila Robb, and I knit it out of Quince & Company Kestrel, which is a linen tape yarn in the colorway Sand. It's so pretty. I love how this came out. I did a lace panel in the front and the back. The pattern only calls for it on the front, but I felt like it tends to lay better if it has it on the back as well. And I also just really love knitting lace, so I'm always happy to add a little bit more lace into something. I left the additional sleeves off, as you can tell. It is supposed to have 3/4 length sleeves, but I felt that I would get more wear out of this sweater if I left it short sleeved. I knit the smallest size as far as circumference because I prefer a little bit less positive ease than the pattern called for. And I did do one extra repeat because I'm quite tall, I have a pretty long torso, and I have a larger chest. So I wanted to make sure that this was hitting me close to my natural waist, and I'm super happy with it. I'll wear it on the next episode to show you. The only other thing that I did differently from how the pattern specified was that I sewed my seams on my sewing machine. I was trying to seam up the sides, and I was using the yarn, you know, like you usually would when you seam a sweater. And I tried mattress stitching. I wasn't happy with how that looked because there's a garter stitch selvage on this sweater on each side of the front and back panels, and it just was not looking tidy in mattress stitch. And then I tried doing a crocheted seam, and I wasn't super happy with that either. So about 10 minutes into this of seaming and ripping and seaming and ripping, I decided that I would use the machine that I own expressly for this purpose, to sew things. So I used my sewing machine. I used a 1/2 inch seam allowance, and I just sewed up the shoulders and the side seams. So super happy with that. Sorry guys, I forgot to turn the volume off on my phone. That's my boyfriend. He says, good luck podcasting. Thank you. I think this is going to be a summer staple for me. It's light, it's breezy, and it will keep the sun off my shoulders, which burn pretty easily. So definitely happy with this. The next project I've been working on is my Ramona cardigan. This pattern is Ramona by Elizabeth Smith, and I'm knitting it out of some really beautiful brown undyed merino that I purchased from Bat and Kill Fiber Mill during the Farm and Fiber Tour, the Knit Local Getaway, in Washington County, New York in 2018. So I'm really enjoying knitting on this. As you can tell, I've made quite a lot of progress on it since the last time that I showed it to you on last episode. I've divided for the sleeves. It's a little bit hard to see because the yarn is quite a dark color. But it's coming along very nicely, and I'm really looking forward to wearing this in the fall. I'm particularly enjoying this little garter stitch detail along the raglan lines, and that will also extend into a faux seam at each side. Hey Murph. Oh, he's knocking things over. Hey. Not too much else to say about this. I am going to be doing the body of the sweater next, the waist decreases, the waist increases. I don't really remember how much yarn I bought for this. Since it was a seconds from Bat and Kill, there wasn't any information on the tags. And I know that Mary Jean, who owns Bat and Kill, did give me the information about yardage when I bought this. I didn't write it down or record it in any way, so we're kind of winging it. I think what I might do is I think I might do the button band and neck band before I do the sleeves. It's pretty typical for me to do 3/4 length sleeves on cardigans anyway, because I tend to like push my sleeves up throughout the day anyway if they're long sleeves. So a 3/4 length sleeve is just fine with me. But if I do the neck bands and the button bands first, neck band, button bands, then I can just do both of my sleeves at the same time and kind of go for as long as I have yarn for. And I think I'm going to do just some natural wooden buttons on this. It's going to be very cozy in the fall. My other knitting work in progress this week is a new cast on. This is the Ripple Crop Top by Jessie Mae Martinson. This is the beginning of one. And I am knitting this out of my new Superwash Merino Yak and Nylon base, which is Owl. And this is in the Thistle colorway. It's this really soft, pretty mauve color. And I'm so pleased with it, and I think it will function as a neutral in my wardrobe. So I'm just about maybe 1 3/4 inches into the ribbing on this. So I still have quite a ways to go. I actually just spotted a mistake. I'll have to drop down and fix it. I don't know what I did there. So I'll have to fix that. But I'm super pleased with how this is looking. I'm also planning on knitting the Ripple Bralette by Jessie Mae out of the same base, my Owl Merino Yak Nylon base, in the Butterbeer colorway. So I think that will be really pretty, and I actually bought shorts overalls specifically to wear with this top that I have not yet made, because I think it'll just be so cute underneath it. That is all of the knitting, and now spinning, which is a segment I have not had for quite some time. I mean, before last episode, I hadn't had any segments for quite some time because I took a little break from podcasting, but I'm super excited to be doing some spinning again. This is my spinning finished object. The fiber was dyed by Spun Right Round, and the colorway is Happy Camper on a Rambouillet base. I love how barber poley it is, which, to be totally honest with you, was kind of luck because I didn't really do any color management in the spinning. I considered this just a way to get back into spinning and get a feel for it again. And this is 4 ounces. It ranges, I would say, from a sport to a DK, maybe worsted in a couple spots, but mostly a sport to a DK. And this is what the fiber looks like unspun. It's showing up a little bit brighter on the screen than it is in real life. The oranges and reds are not quite so overwhelming in real life. However, it is a little bit out of my comfort zone. I bought this several years ago when I was still kind of figuring out what I wanted to spin. And for instance, I love the look of this yarn, but I don't actually think that I'll get to knitting it anytime soon. So this skein is going to be, well, and this skein, once I get it spun up. These are actually going to be gifts for my friend Em. She mentioned on Instagram when I posted this how much she loves it. I love her, so perfect. I would much rather that this goes to someone who's going to knit it and not just have it sit in their stash for another several years. And she really loved it, so works out perfectly. My last work in progress for this week is a weaving work in progress. It is my first weaving, and I'm very excited about it. Here it is thus far. I'm really just playing around and experimenting and learning different stitches at this point. This is just going to be a wall hanging for me. It's going to go in my living room. So it has quite a variety of yarns in it. It's got some of my hand-dyed yarn. It has one of my very first hand-spun yarns, this dark gray, which is a Kramer alpaca and wool blend. It has some light gray yarn. I don't actually remember what this was. It was left over from a scarf that I knit several years ago. It has some wool bulky, which I adore. It has some mystery roving that I got when I was part of a fiber club several years ago. It wasn't labeled. I didn't really want to add this roving into a spun yarn, not knowing what it is, what the content is, because I wouldn't really know how to care for it. So I decided to work it into this weaving, and I am super pleased with how this is looking. I have another shuttle wound up and ready to go. This is a pretty early hand spun. It's in a very lanolin heavy wool. Oh, it smells so good. I did wash this yarn when it was complete, but there was just so much lanolin that it was really not going anywhere. So it's a very sheepy yarn, and I think it will be a really beautiful texture in this weaving. I'm also going to use this yarn in it, which is some Mono Still Uruguay that I purchased several years ago at the New York Yarn Crawl. I think I purchased this at Brooklyn General, but it's this really beautiful sort of minty green blue color. And I think that will look beautiful with the gray and the pink as well. And I haven't decided yet whether I'm also going to include some of this yarn. This is some hand spun that I spun out of fiber that I purchased from Skirted Fleece Mill, which is a really wonderful small family run mill near where I grew up. It has flax fibers in it, so I don't think I would really want to wear it next to my skin, but I love the way that it looks and I love the texture the flax gives. So I'm going to, I think, add this to the weaving as well. And I'm planning on getting that finished in the next couple days, so I should have a finished wall hanging to show you for next episode. As for what I'm reading and watching, I just started the audiobook of Women Who Run with the Wolves by, I'm going to check this because I really don't want to get it wrong, Clarissa Pinkola Estes. So this was actually recommended to me by the wellness coach that I'm working with. Long story short, I finally figured out that between 28 years of body image issues and having some health stuff happening, I needed a little bit more help with my health than I was able to handle on my own. So I'm now working with a wellness coach. She's amazing. I don't post a lot of wellness-y stuff on my main account because, frankly, I think we're all kind of inundated enough with that. So I mostly keep that on my fitness Instagram account. So if you want to follow that, just send me a DM on my regular Sweet Sparrow Knits Instagram and I will send you the name of my Fitstagram account. This book was recommended because part of what I am trying to do is get back in touch with my sort of feminine power, which obviously femininity does not mean one thing. You don't have to be feminine to be a woman. You don't have to be a woman to be feminine. But in my particular instance, I felt like I've really lost touch with that, mostly due to health issues. I have very, very low hormones. My estrogen, my testosterone, my progesterone, it's all very low. So I hope this isn't TMI in the health department, but I do not have a regular menstrual cycle. I haven't for probably about a year now. It's a bummer. Like, it sounds like it would be great not to have to worry about it, but I do feel pretty out of touch with my body. Sorry, we ran out of available whatever. Whatever the camera does, it stopped doing it. So I haven't gotten too far into this audiobook yet, but it's not a long audiobook, so I'm planning on listening to it while I work this week, and hopefully I will be able to talk about it a little bit more on the next episode. I'm not really reading anything else. As for what I'm watching, I've been catching up with knitting podcasts, and I would really love any cozy mystery recommendations that you have. It's my favorite genre of show, and I feel like I'm kind of out of it for the moment. I just don't really know what to start. So if you have any recommendations for cozy mystery shows, please send them my way. And I do have Acorn, which is like the UK channel, I guess, on Amazon. And I also have another one that I can't remember the name of. Oh, it is Acorn. I'm also perfectly willing to get the BritBox channel, so if you have recommendations that are on Acorn or BritBox, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely send those recommendations my way, because I would love to get drawn into another cozy mystery series. So just to finish up, I do have a little bit of shop news. I have a sale currently going on in my Etsy shop where you can use the code birthday20 to get 20% off any order of $100 USD or more. And this is my birthday sale. My birthday is June 29th, and this sale will be going on through June 30th. So if you are looking for a sweater quantity, this is a really great time to get it, because basically if you buy 5 skeins, you're getting one free. And this discount also applies to custom orders. So if you don't see one of your favorite colorways in the shop right now, or you don't see it in the quantity that you need it, just send me a message on Etsy and I am happy to get that set up for you. And you can absolutely use the discount code on that as well. And I think that's everything I have for this episode. I think I'm going to get this edited and then chill out with the cats, do a little weaving, have a nice meditate. Yeah, sounds like a good way to spend a Monday evening. So thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Bye. Y'all ready for this?